Spring is considered a trusted framework in the Java ecosystem and is widely used. It is no longer valid to refer to Spring as a framework, as it is more of an umbrella term that covers various frameworks. One of these frameworks is Spring Security, which is a powerful and customizable authentication and authorization framework. It is considered the de facto standard for security Spring based applications. One of the viewers requested me to make a tutorial on Spring security with JWT. So I'm making this series to explore Spring security step by step, starting from basic security to Spring security with JWT. In this episode, we will explore the basic. So, and ultimately, we will also try to connect this Spring backend with Flutter frontend. So without further ado, let's get started. We will start by creating a project from start.spring.io. Let's add dependency web, then security and dev tools, and hit the generate project button. The project is now generated and downloaded. I missed to mention that we are using Spring Boot 2.4, packaging is jar and Java version 11, and all other project metadata information as shown on the screen. And our project is generated and downloaded. We will go ahead and import the project into IntelliJ. We will create a controller package, and within that package we will go ahead and create a controller class, and we will name it as security controller. And we will annotate this class with at the rest controller. We will add a public method of return type string and name the method as info. This method will return a simple string, say the application is up, and we will annotate the method with at the rate request mapping, and the path will be info. This is going to be a get HTTP method. Let's save it and go ahead and run the application. We are running the application just to make sure that the application is starting smoothly. The application is started. You may notice that Spring Boot has generated a default password just because we added the security dependency. Spring Boot is putting a wall in front of all the endpoints, and Spring Boot is putting all the endpoints behind the wall. And Tomcat is running at port 8080, which is the default port, and this is the default password generated. Let us now go ahead and open the Postman application, and we will test our application by sending some GET request to http:/localhost:8080/info. We will send this request without any adding any authorization headers. When I try to access that endpoint, you see that the status is 401 and the error is saying that the request is unauthorized. Now if I go ahead and add an authorization header and provide the credentials, For that, default user is user, and this is the password which we copied. And if I now hit on click on send button, and you see the response. Now that our basic application is secure with Spring's default security, let us modify the application a bit, and then slowly we will override the default behavior of and configure the application as per our security need. We will add another endpoint, which is /hello. It is again going to be a get HTTP GET request. And then we will create another package, name it as config package. Within the package, go ahead and create a security config class. The name can be anything, but for now we have named it as security config. And this class will extend web security configure adapter. We will annotate this class with @configuration, and we will enable web security. We will now override the configure method, which takes an argument of type HTTP security. The default behavior is http.authorizedRequest.any request.fully authenticated, and HTTP basic. This is the default. I mean, even if we are not configuring anything, then Spring Boot will authorize all the requests that are coming to the application, and it will protect all the endpoints. So this is the line number 14 is the default behavior of Spring Security, but we will comment this out and we will configure our um, we will override the configuration. For now, we will say http.authorizedRequest, and we will add ant matchers to allow /info to all the everybody. We are saying permit all. I mean /info endpoint will be allowed to everybody, but we will not. We will protect all other endpoints, and we will ask Spring Boot not to maintain any session. So we will say that session creation policy dot stateless. And lastly, we will enable cross origin request. For now, we will create a bean of password encoder, and this is going to be for now for this demo purpose we will use no password encoder, but this is not recommended. For production applications, you must use some other password encoder such as maybe bcrypt password encoder. Spring Boot will need this password encoder in order to encode the password and to make sure that the passwords are not saved as clear text. Now let us override another configure method which takes in authentication manager builder as argument. And to that we are informing that we will provide the user details from our own service. So auth.userdetails service, to that we will pass in the instance of our own user details service. So let me name it as PXP user details service, which is not yet created, but we will create that. So let's auto-wire that service for now, but it is not created yet. We will do that in a bit. Let me auto-wire it. and name it as PXP user detail service, which will be created in a bit. Let's go ahead and create it. By this configuration, we are asking Spring Boot that we will store all the user information in database, and we will fetch that from the database using this PXP user detail service. This class will implement user details service, and we have annotated this class with @service annotation, and we will override the only and one I mean on, the only method load user by username. And for now, let's create a dummy user, hard code all the information. I'm saying that username is foo, password is foo, and some authority. So we will create this hard coded user object and return that object to the authentication manager builder. In the next step, maybe we will fetch the user information from database, but for now, I'm hard coding everything. Okay, let me restart the application now. As you can see, the application is started, but this time the default password is not generated because we have overridden it. So the default password is not generated. If I now open Postman and without any authorization, if I go ahead and try to access the /info endpoint, and it is returning success response, and returning the information. But without any security information, if I try to access /hello, it says unauthorized. And now if I go ahead and provide the password, credentials, meaning user ID and password. So foo is the user ID and foo is the password. If I go ahead and hit send button, you see I'm able to get the response. That's it for this episode. In the upcoming episode, we will fetch the user information from a real database. Also, in subsequent episodes, we will use JWT for authentication. Thank you for watching. If you have not already subscribed, then please do like, share, and subscribe. Thank you.